Greetings and welcome to the World Numismatic News as we now take a look at Lincoln penny varieties from 1942. The first coin to look at is this 1942 penny from the Philadelphia Mint. So that means no mint mark on this one. That has some interesting doubling on the obverse of the coin. The clearest doubling is to be found on two places on the design. First, look towards the date, where you can clearly see doubling on the number 1, and to a much lesser degree on the 9 as well, towards the northeast in both cases. There is then also some further doubling to Lincoln's eyelid in much the same orientation, just towards the top of the eye. In 2024, an NGC graded example of this variety was sold at auction for $1,440 at a grade of MS66 red. The next variety displays its doubling very nicely on the letters of Liberty. It appears as though the first hubbing attempt was slightly weak, but the spread is sufficient enough to compensate for that in this case. The letters are doubled towards the top, almost across the board, although the letters with flat horizontal sections do display it better, like the B, the R, and the T. In 2023, an example of this coin, graded by PCGS as XF40, was sold at auction for $600. Then, moving right along to the third example now from this single issue, we have another doubled eyelid coin to look for. In fact, the 1942 penny has quite a few similar variety coins out there to look for. But in addition to the doubling that displays on the eyelid, in this case almost directly towards the east of the main design, there is also additional doubling on the letters of trust, especially on the first T of that word, where the doubling is seen directly towards the right of the letter. This coin graded as MS65 red by PCGS and was sold at auction in 2023 by Great Collections for $1,792. Then we have one more variety from the Philadelphia Mint before we move on to the branch mint coins. The doubling on this coin is again on the obverse of the coin, with most of the doubling seen in a general northeastern shift. We'll start with the date, where the 1 and the 9 are slightly doubled towards the top of the numbers. Moving upwards along the design from there, you should be able to see the effect of the doubling along the ridge of Lincoln's nose as well. And here, true to form, is again some doubling on the eyelid, this time in the northeasterly direction though. And then finally, the top of the head, or more specifically the hair, is doubled as well, as indicated here. For this coin, we can find an example that was sold at auction in 2023, graded by PCGS as MS65 red and sold for the sum of $3,000. From there, we head towards the Denver Mint, and if you've heard enough about double dies, then you're in luck, because true to form for a branch mint variety, this is in fact a repunched mint mark coin. In this case, the D over D variety sees the remnant of the initial D due north from the final placement, with just the uppermost portion of the initial impression still detectable. In 2023, this coin, graded by PCGS as MS67 red, was sold at auction for $840. Another noteworthy repunched mint mark coin from the Denver Mint in 1942 is now also seen here. But on this coin, the variety displays instead towards the west of the primary mint mark, so that the vertical bar of the D is seen in this manner towards the left of the D, and a slight remnant of the initial rounding is also seen inside the cavity of the D mint mark too. In 2023, we saw an example of this variety coin appear at auction, graded by PCGS as MS65 red, for which it saw a closing price of $264. From there, we leave the Denver Mint and head out even further west to find the San Francisco Mint, with a repunched mint mark variety all its own. And to be honest, this is not exactly my favorite variety, as it can be very tricky to diagnose correctly, as it is very dependent on die state. Technically, this is a triple punched mint mark, as in an S over S over S variety, but in most cases only one of the three repunchings will be at least legible. This in the form of a slight mark just about halfway between the tail of the number 9 and the lower serif of the S. Here we can point to an example that was sold at auction in 2023, slabbed by PCGS as MS67 Red for the sum of $2,460. From there, we head over to probably at least the most interesting coins on this list. It is both a repunched mint mark and a double die obverse variety at the same time. Talk about an embarrassment of riches on just one coin. Let's start off with the doubling then. The easiest place to spot it will be the date, where the 9 is doubled towards the top. Now, I'll grant you this, it does look suspiciously like mechanical doubling, but I assure you that this is in fact a doubled die, as every example of this coin I've ever come across has had this exact same doubling replicated on each coin. From there, the letters of Liberty are doubled ever so slightly, mostly seen on the horizontal parts of the letters towards the top, like the T, for example. In addition to that, the S mint mark is also repunched. You can see it towards the bottom left, between the lower serif and the top rounding. Now, also, inside the cavity of the S, there's a remnant there to be found. In 2022, this coin, graded by PCGS as MS66 plus red, was sold at auction for the sum of $825. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch the Lincoln Center Varieties to look for from 1941 right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching. Keep collecting and have a fantastic day.